Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another GDSC Skills Up sessions. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's Sunday, but I hope that your spirit is here with us. So, yeah, today I think we will learn about how to plan your tech career. You will learn from Pradana, engineering manager from Bukalapak. So stay tuned for his sharing today. So yeah, if you haven't, if this is your first time joining our GDSC Skills Up, so this is our fifth videos. Feel free to check on our um, Google Google. Feel free to. Sorry, I know it's Sunday and it's still morning, but I need my caffeine. I think so. So yeah, feel free to check in the playlist. I think there are some more videos from the previous season. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's start. My name is Febria. I'm a technical project manager for Google Developer Southeast Asia team. Today I'll be your host. Before we start, I think it will be great if we can getting to know each other because I think every time we run the sessions, the participants is quite different. So I would like it will be great if we can know you a bit better. So the first questions, feel free to type your response on the chat. What is your dream roles? I know that you're here to learn about career development, but yeah, just curious, like what is actually your dream roles? Is it related to technical, or are you actually want to do something else? Feel free to type that on the comment box. Oh, one response from Noor. Uh, he would like to become a data scientist. Okay, I hope that you joined yesterday's sessions because I think yesterday's sessions we talk about getting to know the roles about data scientists. Anyone else want to share about their dream role? I think for me, myself, my dream role is to become technical program managers, so I can combine my technical skills as well as my project management skills. So yeah, so that's for me. Feel free to type your dream role on the chat. Oh, there's another one from Manish. He would like to become a DevOps engineer. I hope that you join our first sessions about getting to know the roles cloud engineers. I think it's quite relevant with the DevOps one. Okay, Edwin as well saying DevOps like Mas Imre. I believe that Edwin also joining our first sessions then. Muhammad say he would like to become a software engineer. Okay, feel free to put your dream roles on the chat. So I'll move on to the next questions. The second question is if you could have any superpower, what would you choose and why? For me, I would like to become like a Doctor Strange, so you can control the universe. What about you? If you could choose any superpower, what would you choose and why? So another software engineer's dream role. Okay. I hope that you joining our other sessions about getting to know the role software engineer. Oh, okay. Emperor said that he also want to become a Doctor Strange. Any others? I give you 2 minutes to type your response on the chat. Then I think after that we can move on to the main topic of today's sessions. Knowing everything. Okay, Nur. What type of everything you want to know? Super intelligence. Okay. Being great at DSA also count as superpower? I think so. Yeah. Thank you, Daddy. Any other one? Feel free to put the answer coming on the chat. Then I can. think I'll continue. Yeah, thank you so much for your time for joining today's sessions. Today is our GDSC Skills Up Talk series. This I think this is our fifth sessions. And then what we aim to do with this talk series is we hope that we can share to students so they can learn from the industry expert about tech career in tech, especially on the career development side, and then you can level up yourself. We still have some upcoming sessions for the GDC Skills Up. So next Tuesday we will have session from team talking about from student to professional, discussing about tips and tricks, how to transition from students to become a young professionals. So if you're interested to this topic, feel free to join us. If you haven't registered yourself, feel free to register yourself into this link. Okay. I also would like to thank you, our DevSpace team that allow us like to use their YouTube channel to host these sessions. If you're interested to learn more about Google's developers program and then startup programs, feel free to go to this link, devspace-sg.dev, to see their upcoming events, as well as please scan this QR code to stay connected with us in our social media. So probably I'll pause here a bit so you can take a screenshot probably of this page so you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on or subscribe us on YouTube. Okay. Next, back to the main topic. I believe that you are super interested in joining us today to learn about how to plan your tech career. So this is the session that I wish I had when I back in the university, because I don't think I have a quite similar program or events back then. So I believe this type of sessions will be really helpful at least getting to know how the process and then how you can structures your and plan your career and the next step. So without further ado, I think I will invite our speakers today, Dana, from engineering manager from Bukalapak, to join us to the stage. Hi Dana, how are you?
Hi, Fabria. Good. How about you?
I'm great as well. I'm super excited for your sessions today. So I will not take much longer because I think I already take almost 15 minutes for the opening. So I'll give the stage to you. And yeah, please enjoy the sessions.
All right. Thank you. Fabria. All right. So, guys, hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ratsurahutomo Ajis Pradana, or yeah, I know it's too long name, but you can call me Dana in short. And I'm the engineering manager of Bukalapak, one of e-commerce in Indonesia. So in here, I would like to share you guys about some topics, and I think I'm really, really excited to share this kind of topic because I think it's really, really important non-technical topics that I think really plays a big part in your planning or preparation for your career after you graduate. So yeah, I'm really, really honored that yeah, I can bring this topic right at the time you guys, right at the really critical time for you, especially in your university. So you will have like a broad knowledge, and then you have some preparation. All right. So in this kind of company, I mean, literally in a tech company later, I will have this kind of situation, and then I will have facing this kind of roles, and you will like really understand about how to make a teamwork with roles also. And yeah, I think it's really great. So yeah, talking about my experiences, actually at first I was like you guys. I was a Google Developer Student Club's lead. Actually, it's like actually it's I'm the first, one of the first DSC lead in Southeast Asia, because at that time it's only India and Indonesia. And yeah, and after that, since I have a passion about games, I was an animator lead in startup games. And I'm excited about many Google's program, like Google Developers Kerja program. And at the time, I was being the mentor, the web mentor. And continue my passion, I was like pursuing AR VR field after I jumped into a game field, right? So at the AR VR team, I was a tech lead in a startup called Continuum Studio, and then I continued my journey in the Code for Asia being a tech lead. If you heard about Code for Asia, and yeah, especially Code for Asia events also, I was also organizing those events also. And currently, I'm a Google Developer Groups co-lead also in Jakarta, uh, as well as being the engineering manager of Bukalapak. I was also being a full stack driver, which is actually driving the full stack engineering into the right direction, like standardizing and then make some code that actually can help them, and also as well as mentoring, guiding the standard of code, and yeah, everything. So basically, right now I'm a kind of I would like to continue my journey as an engineering manager, because I would like for an adventure about people, literally, because I've been in touch with people a lot, especially since I was a DSC lead also. So basically, what your future or upcoming career, it depends on how you lead your community. I will talk about that later, because uh, I know how you lead your community actually reflecting about how your personality, and also as well as how what is the proper career for you. All right, so let's just get started. So the first thing is about goal plan roadmap. In here, I've built this kind of framework like a roadmap in order for you guys to achieve your goal. So as you can see in here, there is the first phase is called understanding. This understanding means that you have to understand everything, not literally everything, but at least you have to understand many things in order so that you understand about what is the next step and what you need and everything. Basically, you have to understand first before you make a move, right? So this first phase, there's some understanding, and you will see this red bar line. So all these lines stands for a meaning, of course. So, for example, this red bar means that in this state, many people actually give up their goal because they don't even finish their understanding. For example, you are seeing like a you are seeing a very high mountain. Your goal is really really high, and then you're feeling like it's just too impossible to reach it. It's really too high. I can't get it. I can't reach it. Many people think like that. That's why there's a red bar here, because it's really hard and dangerous, and many people give up even at the first phase. But if you try to understand it, try to do it first, and once you know how the steps, I think it's really a possible thing to do. And I think that's great, because after that, you will jump into the planning. Once you understand, you will plan your roadmap. You will plan step by step. Because at this state, you already passed the impossibility from just a view, from the outside view, and then, oh, actually it's not that impossible. Actually, it's still possible. So once you're on the planning, you will have this green bar, means that you will have some boosted confidence, because you know exactly what the step by step, you know exactly how to get there, and you know exactly what you to do. Your confidence will be risen and boosted up at this stage. So once you jump in after that, you will go into something called executing. And this executing consists of two important steps, which is growing and then of course as sustaining. I will talk about that later about detail, but basically in these steps, you are growing yourself in a ecosystem, environment, and as well as sustaining from every conflict or maybe everything that might be happen around you. So basically, it's a lot of tasks there, a lot of challenge that you have to overcome with, and you find this red bar means that sometimes you will get tired and just really hard, but that's how this red bar stops people. But if you keep be patient and overcome this, you will get your goal and finish. And then after you finish, of course, not just end because you can't redefine your next goal. For example, jumping for the next career level at the next career level, and then you will come back to this understanding again. So basically, that's how it goes. So first, let's jump into the understanding phase. So in this understanding, there are three main things that you have to do. First, identify what you have. Like right now, what's your experiences, what your skills, what's your interests, and then second, identify what you want. Identify what you want, like what you really want actually, because you will spend your entire time in this time, right? You will spend your time, energy, and maybe even money. So that's why please consider everything. Just make sure that what you do and what your goal is something that really what you want. And that's how we will survive during execution process, during sustaining in some phase. And yeah, because if you didn't even enjoy, you can't even reach a goal. And the third, identify what you need. After you know everything, you know what you have, you know what you want, and then you can think about what you need. Okay, I need to learn this. Okay, I need to have this kind of experience. I need to have this kind of connection. So you can just execute all the steps one by one with patience. So that is basically the understanding. And then the next, once you understand the steps, now you have to decide a role for that's actually what's the role right for you. So in order to know all the roles, you have to know about the tech workflow, how technology plays a part in a company. So I prefer this kind of explanation because it's easier and easier to understand for you, easier for me to explain, and of course, it's not that boring like mentioning all the roles one by one, right? So this is how the technology plays a role in general, but it might vary between each company. So first, as you can see in here, you can see like world literally, and the world will have some problem, and that we can solve with a solution. And in that case, usually people like a founder or CEO try to find some problem at first, and then try to make a solution, and after that they will think about concept. Once concept has been done, they can build a company like this. And this is most of us who will try to apply for jobs and everything. So this company has many people and management as itself. So usually the leaders will be in this field, in this management role, and then inside this you'll find design, which is actually UI and UX. If you like something to see, if you like something like visual, you can go into some various roles such as UI UX or maybe front end or maybe AR VR like me because I also like designers. So basically I'm a full stack and I also really like some design perspective. So after that you will goes into many platform. There will be some kind of platform like platform from desktop, like you are building website, or For mobile, you are building Android application. So this is where you can be like Android developer or software engineer in general. You can also be a web developer as well. In web developer itself, you will find two roles, front end and back end. Whether you like building some design and then you are referring you're building something that can see by many people, you can be the front end. If you choose a back end, yeah, you will like building the kitchen of how the data and the process, the algorithm will be handled. And the next, quality checks. In here, once the design has been finalized and then the mobile and the Android has been finalized also, everything will be checked for the quality, whether it's pass or not, whether there is no bugs or not, something like that. And you can find rules about this kind of stuff as a QA tester or QA engineer. Basically, you will build automation tests for those application and web. And then once it has been done, usually it will be deployed into a Google Cloud or literally your cloud, and then you can deploy everything, whether you can deploy your website or your Android phone into Play Store. And usually in this part, you'll find some role, something called DevOps or maybe Site Reliability Engineer or SRE, who are actually responsible for this architecture, infrastructure of the deployment, all right, as well as releasing it in the Play Store. So once the product will be used by users, of course, during consuming the application, user will produce some data, some raw data, where actually all the data will be collected in here, captured in here, all the raw data, like everything will be put in here. Yeah, usually people call it as a data lake, where it's a lake of data. So this is how the data team will take a role, because the data team will try to clean the data and they will find some useful information or summary on conclusion into some statistic so that it can improve or help the metrics and help the business team to make a decision. Hey, we have this data, you have to do this, something like that. There is some decision and the decision will be pushed into the management again, and then the management will understand about, okay, we have to, for example, improve this feature, and then we have to make this new feature in order to boost this statistic. Or maybe you have there is some bad statistic in here, and then the management or the company will try to improve it, basically. So that's how the company works, because it's based on data, because data speaks the truth. And aside from that, the data can be also used for a data set, for the machine learning engineer. So that usually is using a TensorFlow, and once the machine learning model has been created, a machine learning model can be deployed to any services that actually need it. For example, prediction or maybe classification and everything, and which helps the process of the deployed application or product. So this is how it's in general. Basically, the founder will be in here, the management and the leader will be in the here in the company, and UI UX will be in the design, and Android web will be on the platforms. QA, tester engineering will be on quality check, and then for the infrastructure there will be DevOps and SRE, and then the data will be in here, collecting the raw data and get the clean data, and as well as make a statistic to make a decision, and then as well as machine learning engineering here to make a use of the data to improve and enhance the process of a certain algorithm. Okay, I think that's a huge explanation. And if you have any question, just put on the chat and we can get everything straight after that. And then, so yeah, which role are really you? You how, so after you saw this, so what do you think? What do you want to choose, and what actually roles that might be really you? Because please take a note. Everything that actually about this kind of role is really important, because don't ever jump into a wrong role, or maybe like a role that actually isn't you, because even when you have a role that actually really you, that actually you really like, it's already challenging inside the company, because you will face a lot of other challenges as well, not about the role but other challenges around you, including people, maybe manager, or maybe rival, everything. You'll find many challenges as well. It's not just about the role. So just make sure the role is good for you, and I think it will be good for everything. So yeah, let's say we have decided a role. All right, this role is for me. A goal has been locked, and then we can go into the next step, which is planning. Uh, so that's why after in here we have to do some planning. We have passed this red bar about the planning. The first thing about how to get there. All right, I want to be this kind of role. I want to take that role. So how to get there? You have to think about it. Break down each detailed steps needed. Set a deadline for each process. Set a reminder calendar for each process. Because reminder is really, really useful. You can just make a Google Calendar event like happening every week, or maybe something like that. Even just for a reminder, maybe you set a calendar like, "Hey, get up, you can do it." Something like that. It's really already can boost your psychology, your mood, your spirit to keep up the goal. As simple as that. And then next, as even after we build everything, we understand everything, we already planning everything, but there is no perfect plan, because it's not about building the plan, but it's about adapting for a flexible solution during plan execution. That's the key, because once the plan has been built, created, once you jump into the execution, the way you adapt for the environment, the situation, and the condition is the key. So you have to be flexible for the solution during the plan execution. So yeah, now the hardest part is executing the plan. Wow, as you can see in here, okay, wow, we got it. We got the executing phase. This is the most important one. And then of course the hardest one, the longest process one. Okay, so first, growing. First, you can acquiring skills, acquiring experiences. You can grow by acquiring some skills, like maybe you're learning from online course, Udemy, Udacity, everything. Acquiring some experiences, maybe you can join a hackathon, online hackathon, gathering with other developers and engineers on some events like this. And yeah, maybe you can build some random team to develop a product that can help local businesses, like your solution challenge, Google Solution Challenge, or maybe everything literal that can help people. Actually, everything all things that you do is will push your skills and experiences as well. Acquiring networks, of course, like joining some events, making a random team for a hackathon is also as really good for acquiring networks. Acquiring some tips. Don't forget to always try to find some tips on the internet, or maybe like for the building a resume, or some tips for interview. Try to learn that a lot, because that tips is built based on the experiences. So you don't have to fail, but you just need to understand or learn from the tips, and then you will not repeat the same mistake like the people that they do before. So I think it's really good if you have some tips already. And then remind yourself with calendar, like, okay, you have reached this kind of step. You have, like, for example, 2 weeks has been passed. What's your update? What's the grow grow skill set that you have this that you have get from those weeks? Something like that. Just remind yourself, all right, I need to push this kind of skills within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks. Yeah. And then check for completed steps. All right. And made already completed these steps, and keep going until you get it. You can basically use any task management, what is it, tools, like from maybe like a Trello, or maybe anything that actually many people are familiar with. Everything that's actually is just free, and then you can just make a use of it. And I think that's really great to track everything yet for you, because it's not. It's not just task planning for team, but actually just for you is also okay. Just for you, you build some board and then a plan, and you plan everything. You can just check everything once you finish the steps. Yeah. So after that, it's not about growing also, but about sustaining. Sustaining means that you have to survive in an ecosystem or in an environment. Survive means that there will be a lot of things that actually can be the factor. For example, the external conflict. The external conflict is like such as other people or other situation that comes from the other reason. That actually the other conflict that comes to you, like for example, a rifle, or maybe your something like health, or maybe family matters, or maybe even your loved one. Like many people, yeah, happen usually. So there may be a lot of external conflict that might be disturb how you achieve your goal. So in that case, try to be keep up with it and be strong with it and overcome it. And then it's not just about external conflict, but there is also internal conflict. Internal conflict means that sometimes we lost or forget our reason during the plan execution. Maybe it just takes too long, or maybe you need uh, make more focus on the goal or something like that. Maybe your concentration is just lost somewhere. And the other internal conflict could be like, You are too tired. I'm really enough with this," something like that. Maybe you are saying like that, and then many people like prefer to enjoy things and forget the reason. I don't care about this anymore. I just want to enjoy things that I can enjoy right now. And yeah, I'm just tired. Maybe they say like that, and then they forget the reason, and then they just give up. And that's why it's really hard during the plan execution. The things that we can take from here is that uh, the first, if you like your goal, if that's something that you really want, make sure that you enjoy the process. Once you enjoy the process, you will not get tired. You will not forget the reason, because that's something that you enjoy and that's something that you like. And talking about external conflict, it's not something conflict that can be solved, but it's something that c- can be learned. So basically, if you learn from something from that conflict, in the next time you will have the same conflict, you will get overcome it easier. So yeah, it can be negated, it can be avoided, but it can be learned, and you will know, or you will understand about how to handle such things or such condition with experience. And then the third and fourth, mindfulness and relaxation is really important for your relaxing your mental, your psychology, everything, your mind. Basically, is the one of the most important thing during sustaining. You can try to check about how to do some mindfulness or the internet or relaxation. Don't forget to do it like constantly, so that you will have the same spirit again and again. So all the negative energy, the negative thinking, or everything like that, the toxic everything, like it will be gone, and you can have a full power again to achieve your goal. And then yeah, as like what I said before, enjoy the process. If you didn't enjoy the process, you're just wasting time. You should find another goal. So make sure you enjoy the process. Okay, so here's some tips about executing the plan that I learned based on my experience. The first one, enjoying the process is the key of what it takes to get it. And then the second, you get what you think. It means that if you always get reminded of something, you will always get reminded about your steps. You will thinking about that over and over again, and you will get what you think. If you think that it's impossible, if you think that you are going to fail, and you're going to fail for sure. So that's why I make sure that you only thinking about all the positivity. You will get what you think. And sometimes you'll find something more precious in the process rather than what you expect on your goal. People planning something to reach a goal. Wow, I want to reach this goal. Wow, this goal is really amazing. I want to really get it. And then actually, when you progressing your goal, you will find actually the process is much more precious and important rather than your goal itself. How much, how precious, how important, it depends on other people. It vary, but trust me, it's something that actually more precious and important. That actually you didn't even think about it. Wow, I got these important and precious things during my adventure. Like maybe you find some connection, or maybe friends, or maybe experience, important experience for your next goal, everything. So make sure you enjoy the process and you find something more precious on it. And then the last, I mean the fourth tips is the time you wanna give up. It's the place where you are right in front of your success. So don't ever give up, because once you give up, you're actually at the hardest part. You're actually in front of the gate of your success of the goal. So don't ever give up. Just if you tired, just take a break time and you can continue again. Because the only condition of failure is only when you give up. As long as you didn't give up, you are not failing. It's not about the age, it's not about the time, it's not about other people. Success already. Everyone has their own pace, everyone has their own timeline, everyone has their own way. So that's it. So yeah, keep doing it patiently, and enjoy, and until you made it. Woo. We have reached our goal, and then next you can define your next goal. In this case, for example, we after we graduated from DSC, right, and we have graduated from university, we set up a goal. We set up a goal like, for example, I want to be a software engineer in an X company. All right, got it. I set a plan, everything, and then I try to grow my skills and sustaining everything. And once I got in into the company, whew, all right, I got in. I got, for example, as a junior software engineer in some X company. Whew, finally made it. And then what's next? It's not finished, right? Because you have to redefine your next goal. All right, what's next? Maybe the next level of junior, media software engineer. The next level software senior software engineer. Just make sure you enjoy the process and the transition. It doesn't mean that after you finish, you have to define as soon as possible. No, you can choose the timeline, the pace that you want, because basically it's for you. So you can choose for your own pace and timeline. So okay, let's say in this particular story, we have achieved our junior software engineer role in some X company, and then what's next? Define your next tech career goal. So how? This is how you can choose the path. For example, do some reflection who you are right now, and then what you want basically, and then back to understanding phase again. You can repeat the same process again. Define your next level tech career goal. Actually, from junior, medior, senior, it's like just one way of career improvement or enhancement. But at some point, you'll find some two ways of different path. What is it? So you can define your next level tech career goal. And please take a note that levels might be differ from each company. So yeah, as you can see in this diagram, you will find junior engineer, and then you got the next level media engineer, next level senior engineer, or maybe you already got in to become senior at once you got into the company, you are not junior but you're directly senior engineer. That'll be great. Woo. And please take a note, like what I said before, in after you jump into senior engineer, you'll find two different paths, which is individual contributor path and management path. So this individual contributor path has basically all the technical required. Basically, the role, the part is mostly about technical, mostly about how you handle technology. But for the management part, the part is mostly on the management, and as well as it's only mostly about driving technology. So this part is building the technology, while the management part is driving the technology. Basically, something like that, if you would like to get the full point. I will not explain every single role in here, because every single role has a different responsibility for each company, and as well as every other company has a different levels equality between these roles. So, for example, there are at some other companies, senior engineer is equal with engineering manager. There is some company is something like that, but usually in general, Engineering manager is equal with staff engineer, and then as well as for the next head, senior staff, director, engineering, principal, and then senior director, which is distinguished engineer, and the VP engineering as is the company fellow. Company fellow means it's not company fellow literally. It depends on where you are. For example, you are working on Google, your position will be called Google fellow, or maybe Amazon fellow, Apple fellow, something like that. So basically, these are the roles that you will have for your next career. So as you can see in here, based on levels.fyi, the version of IC or individual contributor, you will see this what's it levels is really different. For example, in Netflix, it's just like a senior software engineer, and that's it. And then Apple, you'll find a software engineer and then senior. After senior, it's literally jump in like a shortcut line and then become distinguished engineer. So there is no any principal in here or staff engineer in Apple. But in Google, you find like, for example, from here is a junior, medior, senior, and then staff, senior, staff, principal, distinguished, and the last is Google Fellow. So, and this is Google Fellow, Engineering Fellow. So that's like a highest of the part of the career part for the IC or individual contributor. And then how about the management? The management also has a different levels or various between each company. For example, in Google, you find like manager and then manager level 5. L means level, and then senior manager, and then jump in into director. Like there is no some certain head of engineering, but it's just directly into goes into director, senior director, VP, and SVP. While in the Microsoft, you find senior manager, and then suddenly it become a principal EM or principal director of engineering. So basically, it has very different naming and very different levels. So yeah, but I hope you guys get the point of what it's all about, the roles and the levels. So yeah, which path do you think you will take? If you try to understand it, you can choose individual contributor or IC if you even code during your weekend or maybe your holiday. Like for example, weekday we are code for company or for university tasks, and then during your weekend you're trying to learn something. You are code again. You code can try to learn something, maybe joining hackathon or events on weekend like this Sunday, which is okay. Mostly you are really was it fit for IC path. Then second, you forget time easily during your coding time because you get too excited during coding and then forget the time. Oh, I'm not eating yet, something like that. If you forget the time, is one of the signs that you're enjoying to become icy. The third, you like the dynamic of tech. You are not just depending on one role, but you always keep up to date with some new technology. All right, I want to update this technology. I want to learn that and implement it for my project. You like the dynamic. You keep learning, and you like a balance between of flexibility and responsibility. If you like a balance between those two, I think IC will be great because it's a role basically it's a part where you will have more flexibility rather than the management, because in the management part you will have a lot of meetings all the day, which is it's not that flexible. You have to attend every single meeting and drive the technology, something like that. But IC, for IC, you can do your responsibility or your task all the time that you want, basically. You like making impact with your code rather than just talk. You want to make an impact with your what you type, what you put on the cloud. And then you like building product, something like that. So you're like building something that can be used for many people. You can choose the IC. And you can choose management if you inspire and motivate people. You like it. And you feel alive when leading people. And then you like building a good community. If you are a DSC lead, and then you really like building a good community, it's one side that actually management is also for you. And then you like understanding people and making them better. All right. You really wanna not just for IC, you will try to understand other people code, but for management, you have to understand other people, not your, not about you, but the character of people, and try to make them better. Like do some mentoring, and then for the next is you mentor people around you. You mentor people. Literally, you really enjoy mentoring people. It's not about responsibility, but like your friend, maybe your friend, and you mentor them because maybe your friend needs some inspiration or yeah, or some insight, and then you like being their mentor for free, of course for free, literally, but you do mentoring a lot. That's one of the signs. And then you're excited about new technology and drive them to the community because one of the important tasks for management part is that you have to learn a new technology and try to drive the technology into the community. Hey, we should use this technology. You drive the technology for the company. You are driving, and then once you drive, the IC will try to develop that and make an improvement for that, and maybe put some what is it input, and then yeah, basically collaborating together. And then you like making a culture and program for the best output of a team. You like try to make a culture, like basically making the infrastructure of a code. So for the IC version, you are building the infrastructure, you are building the architecture of a code or a product for maybe between microservices. But for the management, you are not building something like that, but you will build a culture, a program, so that for the best output of a team, it can be synchronized really well without conflict, and you will push their psychology so that they will do the work with enjoy everything, something like that. So basically, these are the science. And for the comparison, as you can see in here, for the IC, you will more coding, but for the management, you will less coding. And then for the IC, you are responsible on tech issue, of course. But for management, you will be responsible on people issue. And then developing product for IC, but for management, developing people. For IC, you type a lot, of course, for code. But for management, you will be communicating a lot because you will have a lot of meeting, communicating a lot, driving, leading. And then for the IC, you will be impacting on products across projects. But for management, you will be impacting on people across teams. And then the next is solve code conflict for IC. Management is solve people conflict, basically. And last, for IC, you build the technology, but for the management, you drive the technology. So please consider this factor and reason and make sure you didn't choose a wrong path. But even you so, you can try to always improve it and change the path if necessary. So, yep, are you still confused? Maybe you can try to figure it out from how you build your project in GDSC Solution Challenge. For example, in my version, during my solution challenge at that time, during my time when I was a DSC lead, I was leading like a 12 teams, 12 projects. So I decided to put solution challenge only one project and one team. And that one team, actually, I didn't code a lot, but actually I drive them how to do code. For example, you should use this kind of feature approach to solve this kind of problem. For example, to use the GPS to update the position and stuff. Like basically, you didn't code a lot, but basically you drafted the team. That means you are fit with management path. But if in your solution challenge, for example, you code a lot, you really enjoy it, you wanna code with your peers as well with within your project, I think you will also fit with the IC or individual contributor path, which is great. But at some point, maybe in your solution challenge project, you are just defining the product. Okay, I want to build a product with a very great idea, with a big impact, a great impact, like for the whole world that actually needed. They needed your project maybe like needs some idea, and you build and create all of those idea, and you mostly focus on those idea rather than on code or maybe even leading. So in that case, you can also choose for another role, like maybe product manager or product owner or something like that. So basically, try to reflect how you role in your solution challenge and try to find the similar position based on that, because basically uh, I'm sure that what you do in GDSC solution challenge is from your interest, is from your character, is from your personality. So I think that's really a great sign so that you can just refer on that. Okay, we have defined our next goal. Let's and then we can update our checklist and keep going. And you can try to repeat this process again and again. My tip is that as you're progressing, you just need to do the best. Don't limit yourself. Never afraid of losing because nothing will be wasted. I think that's all from me, and thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Really insightful. Oh, let me switch back the layout.
Yeah.
Any questions from the audience? I think while we waiting from the audience, I would like to ask you because I think earlier you mentioned that you started as an IC, but in your current roles, you are taking the management path. What make you decide to go for the management path? What is your like biggest? Okay, I think I should go for this path, not the IC one.
Yeah. Basically, because first I do realize things that I enjoy. The sign is that you will do things for free
Mhm.
based on your interest, right? So
Yes.
at that time, during when like for example, I was a full stack engineer, I code a lot, like from front end and the back end, the architecture. I code really a lot. Like for example, I run three microservices on my laptop, and it gets slow. But
Mhm.
what I realized at the time that I was also a GDG, right? GDG organizer. I really love organizing things and leading the community. So when I realized that I do everything about GDG like for free, for example, like it's not for free, literally, I really like doing it. It's like my passion, even without I get paid or something like that, right? So I feel like I think I will be more enjoying if I leading a community as my full time, as my full time job,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So that like what I said before. Make sure that the goal is really what you want. Make sure that you enjoy the process, and make sure that it's really you. Because once you have found it, then it'll be really a great life to take. Because you are basically working for something that you like, something that you enjoy. So that's why I choose management path for this chance. And then I wanna try figure out if this is really for me. And yeah, I really enjoying it. So,
Okay. Okay, there are some questions I saw from the chat. Hi, Dan and Febria. I graduated from with a bachelor degrees of science and currently working as a full stack engineer at Visa. Hi, Tan. Nice to see you here. From Keh, thank you, Pradhan and Febria, for today's talk. Thank you, Keh, for joining today's sessions. And next questions from Tan. Do I need a master's in CS to apply to another FANGs, or will supplementary programs such as lead code sufficient? What do you think,
okay.
Dana?
I don't think so. It's a mandatory, but it will be great if you have that one, because I think it will be a great supporting experiences or education background that you will have. But basically, that's not the only way, if I'm not mistaken, because it's about how you are. It's about your character, your experiences, your skill set. So it's not only about how your background education is. So I think as well as you get the criteria, you get those experiences, you can do the job well. I think that's enough. Yeah.
Okay. So I also want to chime in on these questions. I think we will have the sessions. So I think in the next 2 weeks we will have mock interview sessions with Googlers. So if you're interested to ask more details about Google interview questions and stuff like that, feel free to join the sessions. Any other questions from the audience?
Cool.
Next questions I have for you, Dana, because you've been both on the IC interview process as well as the management interview process. What do you see is really different between those two interview process? Is there, if the students here want to prepare, is there anything they should prepare?
Okay. To be honest, is it depends. I mean, for each company, they has their own interview processes. Has their own culture for management. Because, for example, in a company, the management path is 15% technical, 50% management. But for the
Mm-hmm.
other company, it's like a 100% management without any
Yeah.
code at all. So basically, the interview process will be depends on that. But based on my experiences. Actually, the interview process first technical is also works on both management and IC role because I think the manage as an engineering manager you will also have some strong foundation of a technical or maybe IC. You have to understand from front end and the back end so that you can try to lead your team well because you will lead some team from front end engineer, AI engineer, back end engineer. If you didn't have that knowledge about front end or back end, you can't lead or even mentoring them, right? So
Mm.
basically, based on my experiences, actually the process interview is quite similar at first, like a CV, a resume, and then some coding challenges, online coding, and then some live coding as well. It's kind of similar and as well as some design interview. But the only difference is that maybe the last two interview for the management part that I take is mostly on experiences, leadership, which actually is not that takes what's it? It's not taking any part in IC interview because in
Mm.
management part you have it's not just for technical, but you also have a strong management skills and leadership skills, communication skills. If you have those foundation I think you will be okay for management part. So basically, that's the only difference.
Okay, sounds good. And another questions I am curious about is after moving to management path, like how many percent of your time you are still do coding or code review?
Code coding, based on my experience, literally on my company, I didn't do code a lot. Like I'm just doing code review, just in case there's something that can be improved or me making a big changes and might be break the whole product, and as well as keeping attention. But is about time. I think the timing is kind of really hard for me because I have to attend all the meetings. So in terms of times, I think IC is better, but manage for management, since we have to communicate with others with the same time, right? So that's why we have a lot of meetings.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
it's
think
also
it
important.
depends on the company, I think. But for me, so far, I got a balance work life like Monday till Friday is still fine. But even sometimes I kind of overwork because I have to plan everything right before the
Mm.
engineer start, and then I have to document everything after the engineer activity. Basically, it's like I have to be prepared before and after the engineer ceremony or the engineer activity. So that's why I will have a busier time for the management part. But for the weekend, I think I'm still managed to have my time until now. So one of the reason
That's
I choose
good.
one of the reason I choose this management path is that during weekend I can try to learn technology based on what I want. Because
Mm.
if I choose IC, I can't choose technology that I want. I might be, for example, I have to learn this technology so that I can do the story or the task for my company. For example, if my company using like other products and I have to learn that, I will waste my time on that product. So I can't choose literally. So that's why I don't want to that. restriction. I want to choose technology that I want to learn by myself since I like things like technology that I really like. So that's why since I also like speaking and making some tutorials, I think I usually spend my time for learning and making those slides during my weekend. Yeah, I think that's the reason also.
Okay, thank you so much, Dana. Is there any other questions from the audience? I know we are over time, I think, but we can take one or two more questions from the audience. Any more questions?
Mhm.
Okay, let's wait 5 seconds for the. Probably they're still typing the question.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. If you guys want a question, maybe like for a future viewer during some recording, you can feel free
Mhm.
to reach me. You can guys feel free to reach me out, and we'll gladly to help you guys on chat also. So don't worry.
Yes, feel free to reach out to Pradana. I think I can show you this one. Let's connect with Pradana. There's some link here that you can uh, probably take a screenshot, and then later you can just, after the sessions, you can directly open your browser and type the link and then connect with Dana.
Sure.
I, I don't think there's more questions from the audience. Okay, then Dana, thank you so much for your time. It's really insightful. I just know that, oh, there's last questions. Someone's still typing, Dana, as expected. From Meg Yang. Okay, hi. How often do companies use lead code for software engineering interview? Fresh grads here.
How often? I think all the time. Because I think that's like the foundation, a strong foundation, and that's what makes you different from one candidate to another candidate, right?
Mm,
Everyone, if you have experience about, like, for example, some Angular technology, and then everyone can use that. Everyone literally can read the documentation and use the Angular. But as a software engineer, or maybe especially for a fresh grad, I think what makes first grade also fair with other experienced engineer is that they use this lead code, because
mm,
basically it's something preparation that can make a difference and make scoring really fair between the fresh grade and as well as the experienced engineer. And as well, it's not just that. It's not just about a fair test, but it's also about your skills or your strong foundation skill set about your logical thinking, your problem or solving thinking. If you have that strong, and I think that's how you make difference from the other engineer. So no matter how your experience is about technology, I mean that's something that you can learn inside the company. But for your foundation, like for example, problem solving thinking, logical thinking, is something that actually really you. So that's why lead code will be always used for interview. So how often? It's always, I think, based on experience.
yeah, based of my experience, either they use lead code or they will give you like a take home test so they can just like assess your knowledge before you coming into the interview, so they know like, oh, when you are going to the interview, what level you will be interviewing for, so they can set the right expectation for the interviewer as well.
Correct. Mm.
So next questions. I think this is the last questions from Meng. Generally, how long should a fresh grad software engineer expect first promotions?
Again, it depends on the context. For example, during your first job, and then you got like, for example, toxic environment, it might be hard. But if you have something like a great working culture and environment, you might be have a faster promotion. But what I wanna say, or what my tips is that don't you ever expect a promotion, but try to do your best uh, with patience, because if you expect, you will tired real fast, and you might be thinking negatively about everything. Maybe your manager, maybe if other engineer got promoted, you will get negative also, right? So I think that's really not good. And then it will have a negative also for you. Maybe you will resign, or maybe you want to do the task really bad. But yeah, so that's not how it works. But just do your best, and basically do everything based on your interest and for you, literally for your experience, to learn and gain experiences. Do everything with that reason, not for promotion. And I think promotion will be just a bonus, and sometimes it happens faster than you think. Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I also want to chime in on this part. I think it's better for you as a new software engineers after a few months in the companies. If you interested for a promotions, start asking start raising these questions to your managers as well. Like, hey, I'm interested for the next cycle for promotions. Um, what do I need to prepare so I can be the next list on the promotion list. So you and your managers can work together to define the things that you might to prioritize in order for you to achieve your promotions. I think that's also one of the tips that I can give from my experience.
I
You
see.
will never get yes if you are not asking. So it's always the answer always no until you ask. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, correct. Amazing.
Okay, last questions from yeah. Okay, I know we are running out of time, but yeah, how does
Great.
having a master of science or postgraduate degree along with the experience influence promotions compared to one who doesn't have? Do you have any
Okay.
experience on this?
I think what is it? It depends. It's not about the background. I think the background is only for the filtering during your job interview, right? But when you jump in, I think your background will not matter at all. I mean, it depends on the company, but for me, for my company, as during my for my experiences, based on my experiences, I think what's really impacting during the promotion is about how you perform inside the company. It's even when you have like a great background education or a big background, you have a lot of certification, but if you didn't do well or you didn't perform well in the company and you didn't contribute a lot, you might not get a promotion, but the other engineer will actually maybe just bachelor and then has some certification, less certification, but they did a lot. They have a lot of contribution. They have a lot of impact. I think that engineer is deserve more. So that's why background is doesn't affect a lot.
Yeah, I think for my experience, usually background or a degree usually define really important on the interview process. So they can assess like the leveling when you enter the company, but when you already inside the company, your job performance is I think one of the most important things. So I agree with Dana. I think it's better for you to focus on impact. Um, if you really interested to get the promotions. So yeah, I think we are already 10 minutes out of time. So thank you so much, Dana, and thank you so much all the participants that's still here joining us, even though we are over time. Thank you so much for joining us in your Sunday. Hopefully, these sessions open your eyes on how you can prepare on your tech career in the company. So yeah, thank you so much, Dana, for the really insightful sessions. I hope that everyone here also gained something because I really learned so much from your sessions. Don't forget, we also have the next sessions on Tuesday. If you haven't registered, feel free to go to our website goo.gla/gdsc-skills-up. So we will update the agenda on that website. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have I hope that you have a great weekend. See you in the next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.